Langley Castle were quite unique within the project. We had to look at them slightly differently. Very successful business, but there was massive potential for them to be even more successful. So I started off with an interview with Anton, which took probably about 3 hours to really get underneath what the business was about, where it was going, what it was doing, where it had come from, what its origins were, who owned it, what influence did they have over it, what was Anton's management style, what was the general kind of management style of his managers, what the kind of people that they went for to employ, how did they retain them, how were they so successful in retaining them. And then from there, really, I went away and put together a project plan of what we needed to achieve over the period of time that we were going to work with them.
When we started off, I really didn't have a clear idea exactly what we wanted to achieve. That came out at the first meeting with all the management team, with the heads of department, and with a representative from LMAC as the facilitator. What do you want to do? Well, I don't know. What if we do this? What if we do that? Okay, we started with the Chief Investors in People standard. Can we try and get back on track with that? That was the initial approach. Following that, it developed from being more than just Investors in People. Investors in People plus, and the real plus for this was the vision, and that just took my breath away. And as a result of that, every department now has the vision. Every department has the list of departmental goals and achievements, and they can tick them off.
I use the framework of Investors in People to help them to work through it, because ultimately that was one of their goals. And so I did a mock interview with a number of staff to see whether or not they would actually pass if an assessor came in. And I had an 18-year-old gentleman sitting with me, and I was interviewing him, and the one question that really stuck out in my mind with him was, for any training that you've had, could you identify a return on investment for that training? Now that's quite a big question to ask an 18-year-old. And he sat for just a moment and he said, yes, I've got it. He said, such and such comes in and he sells us all the stuff for the cocktails. He said, I was really curious about learning cocktails. So he said, I asked him to give me a demo, and the organisation supported that, gave me a couple of hours out, gave him some money to do that with me. And he said, and subsequently I've been selling cocktails like they're coming out of my ears. He said, I'm having such fun with it. So even at 18, and given that freedom that he had, you could already see how the business was improving, and it was so simple.
The hotel seemed to work better as a team. Although we did work well as a team throughout the castle, I think there was a lot more emphasis on that. Team meetings, discussions, looking at any issues that we've had and moving forward from there. Staff's perception to it was very good. People's standards of service was changing as we were moving on. So there was a lot of changes happening throughout the castle, and I think a lot of it was impacted because of the project. The aims that we set ourselves when the project started have pretty much been completed. We've hit every goal that we wanted to, bar a couple of very small ones, and now we're looking at our next goals, so it's time to move forward again.
I thought it was absolutely awesome. Every single company took something out of it. There was nothing that I think was a negative side of it at all. As far as I'm concerned, this really was a win-win situation. Everybody won on this. Not only did local government win on it, but by having businesses becoming more focused about being able to improve themselves and to be able to bring further business into the North East. It benefited the businesses themselves by improving their sales, and it's benefited the staff that we employ by making them, helping them to develop into more productive, better individuals. Certainly with the staff that we have here, when it does come up for their time to leave, I want them to leave as very much more well-equipped young men and women than when they first came to me, and I'm very proud of that.
I think we do hear a lot of good feedback from the guests, and we do get regular customers who have commented how the standard in the restaurant has changed, how the standard in bedrooms have changed. So if we are getting that from the guests, we know we've done a good job. I
don't think there's one person that I've ever met there that works there that gets up in the morning and thinks, God, I gotta go to work today. It kind of gets up in the morning, it's like, oh yeah, what can I achieve today? So there is a real sense of enthusiasm, eagerness, and the client feels that the second that they walk through the door. Not only is the building now massively impressive, because that was their selling point, but now they are so impressive with it, and you can smell it, you can feel it, you can hear it, you can taste it when you walk through the door, and more importantly, you can see it.